The last thing I wanted on my 6-hour-long train journey was to be seated right opposite to a crying baby. I tried maxing out the volume on my specifically curated train journey playlist and put my jacket over my face, hoping that would somehow zone out the thunderous wailing of Satan's spawn. No luck. Accepting defeat, I pulled my jacket off and stared right into the eyes of the wailing baby, held by a lady, its mother I assumed, seated in the window seat opposite to mine. I couldn't help but feel just a little bad, as now the nearby passengers sent glares and disapproving sighs. I noticed the mother cooing, whispering into her baby's ear, asking it to quiet down. In a split second, my eyes met hers. I noticed they were red and worn out, as if she had spent a good amount of her time crying. I couldn't hold back. "Is everything all right?" I asked her. The mother looked shaken by the sound of my voice. She nodded frantically. Yes, I'm fine." She managed to give me a weak smile. I should have left it there, but I wasn't entirely convinced with her answer. "Do you want me to try holding the baby?" I offered. She hesitated. "If you don't mind, of course." She sighed in defeat, carefully handed the baby over to me. Call me a miracle worker, but the 3 years I spent babysitting my niece paid off. When the cries began to subside after a couple of minutes. "There," I said, smiling triumphantly. "All better now." I looked up only to find the mother sobbing uncontrollably, gathering more stares than before, making this entire situation even worse. I hope I'm not overstepping, but I began. "Is there a problem?" She looked like she had a million thoughts running through her mind before she came up with an answer. She began. "I need to get away as far as possible. Fast." My ears felt hot. I was dipping into unknown waters that I had only seen in movies. I tried to remain calm before answering. "Is there any reason you want to run away? Are you in danger?" I tried to keep my voice as low as possible, in case there was anyone who could overhear and cause more trouble. She burst out into another uncontrollable sob. I held her hand and she squeezed it back tightly. I prayed the baby didn't wake up due to this commotion. I fetched the water bottle in my bag and handed it to her as she gained some composure and steadied herself. She leaned in close and whispered, My husband, he's not a good man." My heart began to sink, anticipating what she was going to say next. "He beats me. He punches me. I couldn't let him do that to our daughter. He couldn't tolerate her crying. I knew I had to run away." Tears. More tears. My heart quickened. I had to think fast and plan something that would get her out of this mess. We had 4 hours remaining on this journey, but we had to work a way out. "Hey, okay. Look at me. My name is Rachel. I know a couple people who can help you out of this situation," I spoke, holding her hand tightly as I did it. "What is your name?" I asked. "Mary," she replied, her sobs now coming to a pause. "All right, Mary. Can you calm down and tell me if your husband knows you've run away?" She nodded. "I slipped some sedative into his dinner last night, but I know he would have figured out when he sees the house empty." I handed her daughter back to her. She seemed to have gained some composure. "Once we arrive, we will head to the nearest police station." No. I can't go to the police." Ray spoke all too fast. "He's very influential. He knows people. I just need to get to my mother's house fast." "All right," I agreed. Worried she might have another meltdown. "I will ensure you get to your mother's house then." "Are you sure you two are going to be safe there?" Mary told me her husband does not know the address, and she'd remain safe. The whole situation didn't sit well with me, but I felt if I questioned her, it would only make her more frantic. We spoke a little longer, as she delved deeper into detail of her abusive marriage. I felt fear, rage, but mostly pity for Mary, who had sacrificed 5 years of her life to a monster. We took turns holding her daughter, Charlotte, who slept peacefully for the rest of the way. With only 1 hour to go until the destination, I quickly texted my best friend to meet me at the station with her car, no questions asked. The train came to a halt. I looked out the window and noticed we were stopped at a ghost station. The other passengers seemed just as confused. I turned around and saw the doors open as 2 police officers walked in. Looking into every seat, behind them a young couple followed, repeating the same action. The woman, who looked like she hadn't slept in days, looked right in my direction and screamed, "My baby!" Before I could comprehend what was happening, the officer rushed over to Mary, snatched her daughter away, and held her hands behind her as they cuffed her. I stood up, beginning to protest, but all of their voices towered over mine. "I am arresting you on suspicion of kidnapping and second-degree murder." "How could you? We hired you because we trusted you," the woman wailed, holding the infant tightly. "You do not have to say anything, but it may harm your defense," the officer continued, as my mind buzzed. "You will regret this. My baby, how could you do this to us?" The man spoke, hugging his wife. I stood frozen as the couple was ushered out of the carriage, followed by the police ushering Mary. I began to put the pieces together when Mary resisted the officers, only to turn around and catch my eye once again as she flashed a devious smile. "I got you, didn't I, Rachel?" she laughed, throwing her head back. "I got you."